Colleen. How you doing?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Good, good.
You are not Linda McFarlane at all.
No, I am not.
Hi, David.
Hi, Linda. How you doing?
I am well. How are you?
Good, good. Hi, Adrian. How you doing?
Hey, David, how are you?
Good, good.
Hey, Adrian.
Hi, how are you?
I am well. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's all very exciting today. We have lots of breaking news.
Lots and lots.
Yeah, never a dull moment. It's just 12 o'clock now, so I'm just going to ask everyone to kind of sit tight for a moment. I hate to punish those who are here on time, but I always feel the need to at least wait a couple of minutes for those who are a little bit late. We appreciate your patience. Welcome, Farshad.
Yes, hello, Colleen. It's great to finally put a face to the emails. For those who don't know, I'm Farshad Moltez. I'm the new CEO for Community Capital New York.
Down in the Hudson Valley, for those who haven't memorized the map of New York State CDFIs.
Welcome. We're happy to have you.
Actually, while we're waiting for people to join, this is probably a great time for people to go around and introduce themselves. We started with Farshad, so thank you for that. If you could let us know your name, your affiliation, which group you're with, and let us know whether you're traveling or cooking for Thanksgiving. How about that? How's that for an icebreaker? Just jump in. I'm not going to call on you. It's just going to be a free-for-all. I know everybody's on screen in a different way, so I'm just going to count on you to jump in.
Hi, everybody. My name is Tatiana Melendez. I'm the CIT coordinator here at the CLF. I'm actually going to be cooking, so that's exciting.
Excellent.
Good afternoon, I'm Adrian Hill. I was invited. I have been offered a position with the project. It's very exciting, and just looking forward to listening and hearing what everyone has to say.
That's great. Cooking or traveling?
Actually, neither.
Okay. That's an option too.
Yeah, probably just doing some leftovers or something. Very quiet Thanksgiving
Nice.
for this year.
Well, I hope it's restful. Who's next?
Yeah.
I guess I'll go. Hi, everyone. My name is David Kraft. I am a staff attorney with Albany Law School's Community Economic Development Clinic. And we have been partnering with the Community Loan Fund on the Capital Region CIT project. And yeah, in regards to Thanksgiving, I guess I'll call it cooking if you call like warming up some, whatever you can find at the grocery store. So, yeah.
Whatever it takes, David.
Yeah, whatever it takes, exactly.
And I'll round out the Community Loan Fund Community Investment Trust Group. I'm Linda McFarlane, Executive Director of the Community Loan Fund, and all the previous speakers were affiliated with me. So we're very happy to be here today and talk about the CIT model. I am actually cooking and traveling. So for those of you not doing either, I have double duties.
Always an overachiever, Linda.
That's right.
Who's next?
I'll go. Judy Messina from the Center for an Urban Future. I'm doing a policy brief on CDFIs. Hopefully we'll sing, talk about the things you need and what government can do to help you. And as for Thanksgiving, I'm walking up the street to a couple of friends.
Very nice.
Steve Garabal. I am with TD Bank. I lead our diverse business segments group. And I work directly with our CDFI partners. So in 3 different realms, 1 to connect to our funding sources, 2 to connect to our capital debt sources, and then 3 from finding ways that the bank can partner with the CDFIs to really activate and elevate the work that they're doing and help our clients.
Happy to have you, Steve. What are you doing for Thanksgiving?
I'm traveling and cooking. So I
Right.
normally travel and then end up cooking when I get there.
Well, that sounds like a ripoff.
Yeah. It's the, when you travel to your parents and they need help, it's
Gotcha.
kind of,
Oh, you're a good egg. All right, who's next?
I can go.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm new to the group, but not new to CDFIs. My name is Sarah Halpern. I've recently taken on leadership of Business Consortium Fund, a CDFI that's been in business since the late 80s. And previously, I was at Charles Schwab for 15 years, running their community development, lending and investing and bank compliance and what have you. I spent some time at Capital Impact Partners, and now I've joined Business Consortium Fund to help the organization grow. We serve only business entrepreneurs of color, and we connect these entrepreneurs of color to the biggest corporations by financing corporate contracts. And we are on a growth trajectory, and I'm just really excited to be here. It's nice to meet everybody. The company is based in New York City. I'm actually in Oakland, California, but I'm originally from New York, and it's really wonderful to be in the presence of the New York energy. So it's wonderful to be here and to meet everybody, and I look forward to engaging.
Excellent. We've just got a few more people to introduce themselves, and then we'll get right into it.
I can go. My name is J.R. Dorseville. I am the Director of Credit Inc., the CDFI for Sobro. Happy to announce that we are launching our first loan product in a few years. So we just launched that program. I'm really excited about it, and thank you guys. It's great to be part of this group.
Congratulations, that's great. What are you doing for Thanksgiving?
Oh, just eating.
Okay, well done.
Maybe get some.
Everybody's got a job, right?
Dishwashing duties, but I'll do my best to avoid that. But that's about it.
Go to your core competencies. That's all we can ask. All right, who's next?
And I'm Melanie Stern. I'm the CRA Officer, Director of Consumer Lending at Spring Bank also in the Bronx. And we are launching as we speak a new electric bike loan for essential workers in New York City. So excited about that. Yeah, and excited to see everybody and meet some new folks. That's great.
Are you cooking? Is Zach cooking?
We're going to my sister's in Boston, but we have to bring the sides. So
Okay.
We're not completely off the hook.
Excellent. Let's see, who haven't I heard from? Kim? Oh, you just muted yourself, my dear.
There. Hi all. Kim Jacobs, formerly of Community Capital New York, now a happy retiree, but still very happy to be engaged with the New York State CDFI Coalition, which saved my sanity over the past 2 years. I am thrilled this year to be going to my son's house, who says he wants to take over Thanksgiving. And I said, okay. So I'm traveling, not cooking, and happy to do that.
Nice. All right, let's hear from Delia and Victoria and John. Oh, and Aisha has joined. Oh, we got a few. Let's introduce yourselves, please, and let us know what you're doing for Thanksgiving.
Hi, Delia Yarrow. I'm the Director of lending at INHS, and we are about to start lending with our New York State CDFI money for the first time, so that's very exciting. And I am cooking, maybe frying a turkey. We'll see.
Ooh, good luck. Don't wind up on TikTok.
Hi, I'm Victoria Dooley. I'm the Executive Director at the Adirondack Economic Development Corporation. We're a small CDFI up in the North Country, stretched from north of the Capital District out to Oswego County. So we cover a big geographic area with a pretty small population. And I am traveling to Albany to my sister's house. And like Melanie, I'm bringing sides.
Well done. All right, John, Aisha, and then I've got some folks who are not on video, but who are here by phone. So please take a moment to introduce yourselves and we'll get right into things.
My name is John Felton. I'm with Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union in Western New York, based out of Jamestown, New York. We are the only CDFI financial institution in the poorest county not the United States, in New York State. We just opened up our latest branch, 5 branches across the county, and we put a big focus on the Hispanic community and members of fragile households, low-income individuals. I'm cooking 2 Thanksgiving dinners. My previous career was in restaurants. So we're blended family. We're doing nothing on Thanksgiving as family are arriving that day. And we are having our first Thanksgiving on Friday and the second one on Saturday.
Nice.
Good afternoon. Yep, good afternoon, everyone. It's so great to see new faces on here today. I'm the Vice Chair of the Coalition. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of True Fund Financial Services. We provide small business loans and nonprofit lending across pretty much most of the state. And I'll be cooking. I really should say my husband will be cooking. He's the chef of the house, but I do make mac and cheese and the yams. That's what I make.
Nice. And I haven't heard from Jules or from Brad. So jump right up.
Hey, everyone. Jules Epstein Hebert with Inclusive. We're a CDFI based in New York, but we also represent the majority of New York State CDFI credit unions, and we're a national organization for credit unions. Oh, and I'm going up to Massachusetts to see my parents and family members for Thanksgiving.
Nice.
Hi, everyone. Brad Cedar, Vice President at Pursuit. We serve New York State statewide. For Thanksgiving, I am just staying local, and we're ordering food. So none of the above.
You need to reframe that. You're supporting your local businesses.
We're supporting a local business.
Well done.
Exactly.
All right, Lloyd and Greg, and then anybody else jump in or forever hold your peace.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lloyd Dolman. I'm the Executive Director of Carver's Community Development Corporation. Carver Bank has been in the community for 73 years, providing small business loans as well as merchant services to consumers. And I am actually going to be visiting my in-laws in New York City. Usually I'm the one that's cooking, so this year I'm actually taking a break.
Nice.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's Greg Marr from the Leviticus Fund, and we're a broad-based community development support, CDFI, focused mainly in New York State, although we also lend in Connecticut and New Jersey. I'll be driving to Long Island to pick up my 91-year-old mother, and I'll be giving awesome amount of thanks if I get off the Long Island Expressway without too much traffic, first of all. And secondly, be hosting a small family gathering in Westchester County where I live for Thanksgiving.
Nice. And anybody else? I don't think we've heard from Dan.
Hi, I'm Dan. I apologize. I'm not on camera. I'm in the middle of migrating between computers, and my capacity for video and all those kind of things is diminished. I work for the Habitat for Humanity New York City Community Fund. I'm filling in for Karen Haycox this afternoon. We're a New York City-based CDFI that lends to support, build, preserve affordable housing, mainly in New York City with multifamily limited equity cooperatives, but we do lend throughout the state. For Thanksgiving, I am going down to South Carolina to visit my family, and I'm bringing my 4-month-olds. Will be his first plane ride, and I'm hoping that gets me out of all cooking duties, but we'll see.
Absolutely. You bring a baby and you're off the hook.
Exactly.
Well, that's great. And just let me issue a blanket Thanksgiving greeting to all of you. May your turkey be perky and may your stuffing be fluffy. Thank you all very much. So I am Colleen Ryan, and I'm here to welcome you today to our all hands Zoom for the New York State CDFI Coalition. while most of you are CDFI executives, we do have a few special guests. So I want to give you an elevator soundbite of what New York State Community Development Financial Institutions, or CDFIs, do. We provide financial services and education for low-income New Yorkers. We leverage federal and private dollars for economic development. We create market-based solutions that provide capital to chronically underserved communities across the state. And we promote responsible alternatives to predatory loans. We'll hear more on that later. Since 1995, the New York State CDFI Coalition has been the organizer and catalyst for strategic initiatives that help CDFIs and the communities they serve. The coalition provides a collective voice, allowing our members to stay locally focused while delivering impact associated with increased scale. That's one of the reasons we launched these all-hands meetings. During the pandemic, the New York State CDFI Coalition Board got into a cadence of meeting by Zoom once a week at lunchtime. These Friday noon Zooms gave CDFI executives from across the state the chance to compare notes, express frustration, or as we called it, the airing of grievances, and collaborate on some of the biggest challenges of their careers. I think Kim actually is the one who noted that membership in the CDFI Coalition was a lot cheaper than therapy. So we thought it would be a good idea to extend this opportunity to our members and convene a meeting every other month where we could share business updates, celebrate milestones, and give everyone a chance to ask questions. So first, the updates. We do have breaking news today. Just late yesterday afternoon, New York's own Representative Nydia Velasquez and Senator Bob Menendez of New Jersey introduced the bicameral Small Business Lending Disclosure Act. This bill aims to protect small business owners from predatory lenders and loans carrying unfair terms, as well as conditions that, unfair terms and conditions. There are so many clauses in this thing that they sent out. Unfair terms and conditions, and would ensure safeguards already required in consumer lending through the Truth in Lending Act. So the New York State CDFI Coalition was among dozens of supporters on this legislation that were quoted in the press release. According to the Congresswoman, in the midst of the worst public health crisis in over a century, predatory lenders took aim at businesses and entrepreneurs trying to stay afloat. This legislation extends many of the protections in consumer lending law to small firms, bringing transparency to small business credit markets and ensuring entrepreneurs understand their obligations and rights when they sign up for a loan. That should sound familiar because the federal Small Business Lending Disclosure Act is based largely on the New York State Small Business Truth in Lending Act. So last year, during the height of the pandemic, the New York State CDFI Coalition fiercely advocated for a state law that would help protect small business borrowers from predatory lenders. The New York State Small Business Truth in Lending Act was signed on December 23rd, 2020, late in the evening. And the rules that will establish those protections are now up for review and comment. Here's the way this works. As much as we fought really hard to get this legislation passed, there are bad actors on the other side, predatory lenders, who would like to see it not go into effect or to delay it. So it's really important that our colleagues in the field support this rulemaking and issue favorable comments before the public comment period closes, which is, it's a month away, but time flies, Sunday, December 19th. So please, please, please go to our website. We set up a page. It's under the Our Work tab, and it's just look for New York State Small Biz TILA. And please, there are bullet points there. There are sample letters. There's all kinds of information. I strongly urge you, don't let us get this close to the goal line and have this fall apart. So please send in your comments in favor of the Small Business Truth in Lending Act rulemaking. Does anybody have questions on that effort or how it's being rolled out? I believe that under the law that was passed, it was supposed to take effect January 1, 2022, but that's ridiculous as the rulemaking doesn't close until December 19th. So I think the actual effective date has been pushed out 6 months. But does anybody else have questions or comments on that particular piece of legislation or the federal legislation? Hearing none. We'll move on to diversity, equity, and inclusion training. We are absolutely delighted at the New York State CDFI Coalition to be working with Jennifer Rutledge of Delphi Consulting. She's also worked with LISC New York on similar DEI training. And our efforts in this area are funded with a $20,000 grant from US Bank. And we want to thank Aisha Benson again for making that connection for us and helping to get that support. So here's the way this is going to work. We've been talking about this for almost a year. And what's really important right now is that we get a baseline for where you are all at. We don't want to swoop in and say, this is what New York State CDFIs need, because we don't know. Maybe some of you have already started doing this. Maybe you've dipped a toe in the water. Maybe you are already fully retooling all of your policies and procedures. We don't know. Maybe you're somewhere in between. So that's what this survey is all about. So I have sent an email to all New York State CDFIs. If you don't recall receiving it, let me know. I'm going to pop the link in the chat once we move on to, I'll give a recap at the end, and I'll make sure that I send it around when I send this video. But it's really, really important that we complete this survey so that we can have an idea of where you all stand and what the needs might be going forward. This is a big undertaking for the coalition, and your insight will be most important in making this a success. Now, the good news is that there's a link on our website. The bad news, or there's a link in an email I'm going to send you. The bad news is the survey closes Tuesday of next week, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. So, if you need to put this on your calendar, do the DEI survey first and send your public comments in on the Truth in Lending Act later. We've got plenty of time on the Truth in Lending Act. Does anybody have questions on the New York State CDFI DEI consulting effort and what we're hoping to achieve through that, or how you can be of assistance? Questions, thoughts? Not so much. Hearing none. We'll move on to the New York State CDFI Investor Club. Around this time last year, and I know this because I was looking at my my Thanksgiving planner, and written in the corner is meet with Impact Finance Center. So around this time last year, we embarked on a partnership with Impact Finance Center, or IFC. They're based in Colorado, and they identify, educate, and activate impact investors. And they've done this for a number of other organizations. And so we thought we could work with them to try to get some money into CDFIs. So we hosted a series of 9 webinars culminating earlier this month on November 5th. And we have a resource page on our website with links to the presenters and a way to watch recordings of these programs. It's New York State, nyscdfi.org/investor club. We will not be having any further webinars with them, but they have identified 600 prospects as far as investors in New York State CDFIs. So they're beginning efforts to activate them, and they will be sharing quarterly reports with the coalition. So we will then in turn share them with you. Anybody have questions about Impact Finance Center or what that has meant or what have you?
Yes, Colleen, it's Lloyd. So the question I had was, as they activate these prospects, any timeline in terms of when they will potentially start making investments or doing their due diligence around any impact investing that they're looking to do moving forward?
According to IFC and their work in other states and with other industries, sometimes it can take a year, 2, even 3 for those first dollars to start flowing. This is really an awareness building exercise. Steph Gripney, Dr. Stephanie Gripney, the head of Impact Finance Center, said that she was absolutely shocked at the number of high net worth individuals, i.e. millionaires, in New York State who weren't already investing in CDFIs. So it seems to be a real, area of unawareness. So we're really trying to get the word out. And the timing is perfect. CDFI is not exactly an acronym that rolls trippingly off the tongue. Jules, I hope you're not bored. Okay. But I think that now more than ever, people are talking about CDFIs and the work that they've been doing. So I think that this was a very good time to enter into this partnership. It was not without significant expense. So we're looking forward now to hopefully seeing some dollars flow because of that. So along those, any other questions on Impact Finance Center? Okay, so along those lines of the handsome sum that we paid them, we are fortunate to have allies in the field who are spreading the word about CDFIs as an asset class at no cost to us. So Social Venture Circle showcases CDFIs and encourages individuals to make investments in CDFIs and also to support them philanthropically. So not just lending, but also grants here and gifts, what have you. So if your CDFI accepts investments from individuals, there is a short survey, I mean way shorter than the SurveyMonkey one for DEI. It's like 5 questions. Please complete it ASAP. They're planning to issue a list of, and this is a national effort, so it's not just New York State, but they're planning to issue a list of CDFIs that accept investments or donations in December. So just in time for year-end giving. So I shared the link in the agenda email that I sent around yesterday. I'll also drop it into the chat later and share it in the follow-up. This survey is a volunteer effort of Pam Porter, whose name I'm sure many of you know, and Babby Jacobs, who has joined us on a couple of these calls previously, and we are deeply grateful for their support. Anybody have questions about that? Nope. Howie Banker, long time no see. You missed our intros. Would you be kind enough to introduce yourself?
Apologies. My name last name truly is Banker, and working with the Center for New York City Neighborhoods and its CDFI Sustainable Neighborhoods.
Nice. And I think I see one more new name, Stevenson Joseph. Do you want to introduce yourself? Or not? Maybe he's stepped away. So in any event, before I introduce our featured presentation, and I told Tatiana that it would be about 12:20, so 12:25, that's not bad. Also, Tatiana, you did change your name, so let me make sure that I've made you a co-host so you can share your
Yeah, I
screen.
just noticed that it was different. So.
Okay, so I just want to make sure you are a co-host, so theoretically you should be able to share your screen, but if we have any trouble with that, just give us a minute to straighten that out. So before I introduce Tatiana for our featured presentation, please start thinking about what you want to talk about during the Q&A at the end of this hour. Funding and financing, best practices, upcoming legislative issues, products or services for CDFIs, special events, job postings. I'll tell you what I don't have any info on, and that's SSBCI, but maybe you all know something that I don't. So while you put your thinking caps on, let's think back to about a year ago today, really, Friday, November 13th, to a webinar we hosted as part of our 2020 virtual conference series. It was one of our best received and best attended webinars, and it was titled Creating Community Wealth Through Community Controlled Investment. And it was presented by Todd Arena and David Kraft, who joins us today, of the Albany Law School Community Economic Development Clinic. It focused on nascent plans to develop a community controlled investment fund in Albany. Now here we are a year later, and the plan is a reality. Please join me in welcoming Tatiana Melendez of the new Capital Region Community Investment Trust, who will give us an update. Welcome, Tatiana.
Hey, everybody. It's nice to be here and see all new faces. So today I'm going to walk you guys through the CIT presentation. So do bear with me. I'm a little nervous, but we'll get through this together.
You'll do great.
Yeah. Let's share the screen. Yeah.
There you go.
Perfect.
Hooray, it worked.
Yeah, I definitely was questioning that, but it worked perfect. My screen. Oh. Okay, so welcome everyone. If you guys have any questions, do feel free to ask them once the presentation is done. I'm going to walk you through the CIT presentation here. Let me introduce myself to everyone as we all are new. Well, I'm new and all new faces. My name is Tatiana Melendez. I am the CIT coordinator here at the Community Loan Fund. Prior to CLF, I was the Assistant Program Director for United Tenants of Albany. And I have a background in community engagement, advocacy, as well as training assistance. In its ongoing mission here at the CLF, it's our mission to promote financial involvement in the community. The Community Loan Fund has launched a new and innovative program called the Capital Region Community Investment Trust, CIT. Can you guys see the screen? Sorry. So what is CIT? CIT is a real estate investment. It's an approach that can help people build assets, resilience, confidence in their community. It's a new investment that originated in East Portland, Portland, and continues to thrive by being replicated in other cities and states. Across the country, lower income Americans face common barriers to building personal wealth. Mercy Corps is an economic development organization based out in East Portland. Mercy Corps examined these barriers, and what they noticed is that their own communities were low to moderate income households. These conditions are known to prevent an ever-growing number of families from building financial resilience, which then leaves them vulnerable to financial setback. Mercy Corps then took action and used a human-centered design idea to understand the motivation of low-income and renter populations and what hindered them from financial action. Mercy Corps then designed a product and made it approachable for other cities and states to replicate. CIT, the Community Investment Trust Model. CIT is in the Capital Region and is building economic prosperity that will enable people to improve their own financial well-being. CIT will be an affordable investment, and it will provide residents with a low dollar, tangible, and safe opportunity to collectively own a piece of thriving commercial real estate property in their neighborhoods. So how CIT works is that an individual living within certain zip codes can buy shares in the CIT for as low as $10 and as high as $100 monthly investment. CIT will have impact investors to build the community's wealth by investing in their neighborhood. So what happens once you sign up? As an investor, you will need to complete a owing to owning workshop and develop financial investment knowledge. Once you complete this workshop, you can start investing as low as $10 and as high as $100 monthly, while earning a minimum 2% annual dividend. You will be able to have a long-term or short-term investment based on the financial goals of the investor. What is the owing to owning workshop? It's a workshop to help you develop financial skills and knowledge to best use your financial resources in becoming an investor in the Community Investment Trust. The Moving from Owing to Owning workshop will prepare you to become a knowledgeable investor so that you can meet your financial goals. This class is a requirement to becoming an investor in the Community Investment Trust. So these are the topics that will be covered. They are broken down into 3 sessions. The first session here focuses on getting in line with your goals. You will learn how to lower what you owe and increase what you own. You'll be able to create a financial goal, as well as create a budget for savings and investment. Session 2 focuses on taking action towards your goals. As an investor, you'll be able to address the gap between your financial goals and current net worth. It'll teach you to improve your credit score and you'll be able to create a plan to stay on track with your financial goals. Session 3 focuses on investment planning and matching your goals. You'll be able to identify barriers to saving and investing. You'll be able to learn how investment works and their risks and benefits, as well as evaluate the suitability of certain investment options. Creating community wealth. CIT will be engaging with residents in these low to moderate income zip codes, our local communities. So as you can see here, Arbor Hill, North Albany, West Hill, Washington Ave, Sheridan Hollow, as well as the South End. So here is the potential property, which is the Coliseum located at 153 South Pearl Street. The property evaluations were based on the following categories, which are the price and improvement of costs, property characteristics and location, the neighborhood's demographics, and of course the gut check, which is the story of the building. Any questions?
Hi, this is Howie Banker. Is membership in the trust, does it require possessing a social security number, or could somebody with an ITIN number make an investment?
Howie, this is Linda McFarland. It is, the eligibility requirement is residents in the neighborhood. So whether they have a social security number or not, if they are residents within the community, they are eligible to participate.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tatiana, are we done with the
Yes,
presentation?
I'm done with the presentation.
Okay, so
Sorry about that.
that's okay. No, that's okay. Why don't we just go ahead and stop the sharing?
Wait, I have a question.
That's okay. Yeah, we can keep questions.
So can you talk a little bit about what some of the regulatory issues are around this? This is, I think, a securities offering to unsophisticated investors. Are you required to issue 1099s? Some of that kind of technical stuff?
Yeah, I'll step in for that. So that's kind of where the clinic is going to be playing a role. So yeah, to your point, Kim, there will be some security regulation matters involved with jumpstarting the Capital Region CIT. One thing that is important about the CIT model is a sort of a do no harm mechanism that needs to be established to mitigate the likelihood of people suffering a loss as a result of investing in the CIT. So with East Portland, what they did is they were able to obtain a performance pay letter of credit from a financial institution that essentially provided a backstop for all of the investors that, if they wanted to pull out at any time, they had the ability to do so, but it also prevented loss of their investment. That is also going to be something that is going to be important for jumpstarting the CIT in the Capital Region. The Community Loan Fund will look to financial institution who can serve as providing that performance pay letter of credit. So that is going to be a necessary factor that's going to play into, obtaining the security regulation approvals from the AG's office. And then from federal security standpoint, so we are going to have the Community Loan Fund will have the assistance of our clinic and also a local firm who's going to be providing assistance with the obtaining those approvals from security regulators.
I had a quick question. Well, first of all, I want to say, Tatiana, that was a great presentation. And the question I had was, so are these investments commercial real estate types of investments or residential? I wasn't sure what those types of investments would be in this trust.
Hi, this is Linda McFarland again. This is acquiring a piece of commercial real estate.
Okay.
And that one of the benefits of the residents is that they, in forming the community investment trust, they talk about what the needed products and services are in the community and can then attract those businesses into this commercial space.
Okay. Excellent.
So yeah, to piggyback off of that, it's not to say that you can't use a CIT model for commercial real estate property that has residential uses as well. I think for being the first one that we're trying to launch, identifying a property that was mainly utilized for business purposes, I think was something that we deemed was necessary for launching the first one, especially if you're talking about low to moderate income neighborhoods. You might have concerns about telling people to maybe invest in a product where there's potential risk, right? Especially with residential housing and low to moderate incomes, there's high turnover and things of that nature. But when you're talking about businesses, not to say that there aren't risks involved with that as well, there's some opportunity for community participation in that, right? You can frequent the businesses that are at this particular property. To Linda's point, to give the community the role and the opportunity to have a say as to like what types of businesses they want to see in this particular location is important, right? What types of businesses they feel like wouldn't be provide value to the community is also. So really identifying a commercial property that has predominantly business use, I think helps also with potential risk protection against risk of loss, because there's more that the community can do to play a factor in ensuring the success of the business tenants that occupy that space.
And Linda, are you the stopgap financing? So if a building costs $500,000 and you have $100,000 worth of investment capital, is the loan fund then filling that gap? And is the loan fund then the property owner and manager, or how does that all work?
The way it works is the community loan fund will initially acquire the property. So between impact investors and a commercial mortgage, we will acquire the property and make any necessary improvements to the property. As the investors month by month increase their investments,
right,
they gain obviously more equity in the building and the mortgage is paid down. And so ultimately, the investors will completely own the building once the mortgage is paid down. So it will be a blend between the loan fund acquiring, having a mortgage on the property with impact investors.
Got it.
I just shared a link. The program that we did last year featuring the folks from the Albany Law Clinic was really good about getting into the nuts and bolts. I think the presentation today talked more about kind of the front end, the investors themselves and why they would invest, and the positives for the community. The program that we did last year really talked a lot more about the nuts and bolts, the legal aspects. So if you want to go back, we have that on our YouTube channel. It's worth, grab a beverage and spend 45 minutes.
Thank you, Colleen. That's really good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, actually, that might be useful for you, Tatiana. I don't know whether you saw the video. So
I did see it, but that, like you said, it does go a little bit more in depth versus the presentation. So,
and I concur with Lloyd. I think you did an awesome job. You're brand new, right?
I am. To the whole investment side of stuff, yes, but not to the community.
Yep. All right. Anybody else have questions? This was actually perfect timing. It's just 1:45, so we have 15 minutes left for our Q&A.
I have one question. Sure. Relating to a vehicle like this, do you foresee something like this being developed to invest in the small businesses? So this program is intended to invest in the commercial real estate, and you're inviting businesses in, businesses that you think the community needs. Would there be a possibility in the future or a similar vehicle being created where the community can raise funds and then have a small equity position in helping the businesses actually get off the ground? And that way you're buying the real estate, but you're also having an ownership piece in the actual businesses in the community, and the community has an ownership piece and a stake in everything that's going on, not just the commercial property, but also the businesses that are in those properties.
Yeah, so to that question, that's actually what the presentation that Colleen is referring to that we did last year. That was kind of what more of that presentation entailed was, right? How do we create a vehicle to give maybe community residents the ability to have, to invest directly into businesses and have a, shared ownership in that. So yeah, I agree. I think that would be great, right?
I gotta
At
check that
some
out.
point to have something like that. But, I think what's important is, the CDFI's role in facilitating something like this, the CIT model, right? It's to your point, you mentioned some of the concerns, right? The security regulation issues and making sure the property is viable and can sustain, right? And I think when you bring in those requirements, having the CDFI kind of helping facilitate the CIT can play a big role, right? Because one, it's already a community-focused financial institution, but it also has the technical requirements to help ensure or mitigate the likely risk if you were to kind of just have the community do it on its own. But yes, to your point, I think in the long term you can potentially see a model like this also be utilized for potential business finance as well, right? And so yeah.
Being here in Albany, I'm really excited about it. I was excited last year. I'm even more excited now. And I'm actually familiar with the building. It's a terrific building on a main thoroughfare. It's a historic building, and it's been kind of in flux for the last 10, 15 years. It's fallen on hard times. It's been bought by an investor. It's been used for almost like a small business incubator. And now it seems to really have purpose and direction, and under the auspices of this new organization, but under the umbrella of the Community Loan Fund, it's really, I think it holds a great deal of promise. And it's got a lot of really good backers. I mean, could Tatiana or Linda or David, could you talk just a little bit about the consortium that you pulled together to make the magic happen?
Sure. Hi, this is Linda. We have partnered with Albany Law Clinic, clearly David Kraft. We have partnered with UAlbany and also with Siena College to help with community engagement and in formulating, going through the feasibility study of understanding the CIT model and identifying the best property for it. And we have been having, of course, multiple community engagement meetings, working with churches, neighborhood associations, and other stakeholders in communities. We also have engaged professionals, bringing to them information about the impact investor, and are getting some very positive support from individuals who are higher net worth that are interested in being impact investors, as well as financial institutions where we are talking to them about not only the commercial mortgage, but also the letter of credit and how this model is going to improve communities. We're all about, all of us in the CDFI world, sustainable community development. And this model touches on that very heavily. Not only are we improving real estate within the community, we are providing jobs. And studies have shown, particularly from South Portland, that there are some ancillary benefits. So residents are remaining in their rental properties longer. They're not moving around quite so much. High school graduation rates are increasing in these areas, and voter registration has also been increasing in these areas. So there are multiple benefits, and we have found that once we start talking about this, it's something new, it's something different, but has so many sustainable community development benefits that we're getting very positive results and people wanting to get involved.
It really ticks all the boxes.
And I'm sure, I'm just curious, I mean, out of a show of hands, like how many of you in community meetings and discussions I've heard residents in the community talking about they want to collectively own something in their community, like like some sort of piece of real right. So, and I mean, it gets to that. This is what this product does. This is what this opportunity does. It helps people who want to have an ownership stake in their community and not just be kind of someone on the sideline who's seeing things happen in their community, but they don't feel like they're really actually participating in it because they don't have an ownership stake. So
It really does. It makes people stakeholders and gives them agency, you know, and the future
Exactly.
of the property and their community. And I think it's a terrific program. I'm so excited to see it happen. And I'm so grateful that Linda and Tatiana and David could come and share this with us today. So I will make sure to share David and Tatiana's contact information again when I follow up with everyone, so that if you have further questions, I do urge you to watch the video. It was really, really instructive. So kudos to everyone involved. And please join me in thanking the presenter. Well done.
Thank you, everybody. You'll see me more.
Good. Looking forward to it. All right, so it's almost 10:01. I know that people are, you know, watching the clock because everybody's got all kinds of meetings, or it's just Friday and everybody's just tired of Zooming. But why don't we start? Farshad asked for a brief moment at the mic to introduce himself. He's new in town and in New York State, so go ahead and say hi.
Hi, I'm the Farshad Maltez, and I'm the new CEO for Community Capital New York, and I kind of assume stewardship of the organization that Kim Jacobs has grown from the ground, and I hope that I will be at least as 10% as effective as Kim has. That would make me very successful, at least for my eyes, you know. And I really look forward to working with you all, hopefully in some capacity in the future. But very quickly, I wanted to talk a little bit about SSBCI because we only meet every 2 months, and there's some really critical things. So I'll try to make this as concise as possible. Under the SSBCI program, there's a pool of $500 million strictly for business technical assistance. It's pure technical assistance money. It does not require matching funds or anything. It's pure manna in heaven to support technical assistance, which is of course something that a lot of us here in the CDFI world in New York do. And however, that money can be distributed in different ways. And what I'd like to have us advocate for, especially because of the strength of the New York congressional delegation, is to advocate for having the states distribute this money and have this money allocated according to the same formula as the SSBCI money. So essentially that would give New York about $30 million that Previna, Empire, whoever the other agency would be in New York to distribute. And that's not chump change. This is $30 million that doesn't require match. But the danger is the legislation allows for the money to be distributed in 2 other ways with 2 other federal agencies, where New York and local entities would lose control of how the money is distributed. And actually in some cases, New York, or there are certain regions that just wouldn't get it just because of the coverage areas of the other 2 agencies. And also just to kind of simplify, the 2 heads of the other federal agencies are very good bureaucrats, so I know that they will fight very effectively. But honestly, I really believe a call from like Schumer, an aide of Schumer's to Treasury on this, it makes it just a slam dunk for the states to get it. And again, that I think this would be incredibly helpful to us because 1, it's a good pool of money for New York, but also I think we could get it to someone like Previna at Empire, a friendly party to distribute the money and really make this a very, very helpful resource for us. I know this sounds very esoteric, but it really, this is also not fantasy, this is for real. And I would hate for this money to end up being distributed by these 2 federal agencies and the states, be cut out of it. And especially for smaller CDFIs, we might be the ones that get hurt the most in that. So I just wanted to bring, that pool of resource from SSBCI, up, and hopefully that we can all work together. First I would definitely let Previna know about it, or our legislative delegation know about this particular issue, and hope that they would advocate for the states to have control, of that money. The other issue with SSBCI, this is New York specific, is to make sure that on the equity side, the money that's being used, that the state wants to distribute for equity, that money be made accessible to CDFIs or entities that are affiliated with CDFIs. So for example, some of the Colleen, you mentioned some of these community impact funds, right, that we're discussing here, to make sure that the entities like this can compete or become eligible for some of this SSBCI matching money, rather than it all get eaten up by the biotech or stem cell research or whatever else gets caught up. And I think, again, it's a discussion that we need to have with Pravina and Empire about, unfortunately, if they use the same scoring criteria that they used in the previous SSBCI round, we won't get a penny of it because they're using internal rate of return. There's no way we're going to have 30% or, $100 million cap rates, for what we're investing in. So we need to have some type of, I'll call it CDFI or mission-based preferential scoring in that equity piece. And I think that matters not just for impact funds, but also for CDFIs to get money as equity. It strengthens your balance sheet when you're applying for CDFI PA or FA, because it is equity on your balance sheet rather than debt capital. As some of you guys know, you have requirements for loan loss reserves and things like that. This equity piece can qualify for that. And no matter how generous the terms are on the debt side with SSBCI, it still won't be able to give you that type of impact on your balance sheet. So that's another point I wanted to make, is to make sure that we advocate, with Pravina and with the state of New York, to make sure that the equity piece is also made available to CDFIs, and especially, I would argue, smaller CDFIs. Of course, I have a direct interest, in that. Then finally, if any of you are already members of the CDFA, there is a SSBCI coalition, which is free to anybody that's a member of the CDFA. So I would also advocate that you join that group. And one of the primary reasons for that, besides staying informed about the details and minutia about SSBCI, is that Treasury staff and their top dogs come and talk to this coalition group pretty frequently. It's been about every 2 weeks. So it gives you kind of some face time with the folks that are running the program. And these folks are normally very, very, very difficult to contact directly or be able to talk to and dialogue directly. So it is a really great opportunity and also to be able to ask the folks that have to make the decisions on these things directly. So anyways, I would encourage those that are, CDFA members already. It doesn't cost you any, additional cost. Of course, if you could become CDFA members, there's benefits to that, but I understand, if you can only have so many memberships and, it costs money to do all that stuff. But I would especially want to encourage those that are already CDFI members to also become SSBCI, coalition members as well. And again, just thank you for being so patient. I hope some of this stuff made a little sense, but I think we have a lot of opportunity here. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Very useful information. So I just wanted to, ask you, which are the two federal organizations that would otherwise make the decisions about these funds?
Can I maybe just send that to the group, because it's very technical?
Okay. It's not the CDFI fund, or so it's like
no, it isn't. It isn't. It isn't. One is an obscure. I'd rather just send you the
thank you. Yeah,
of what it is. But very quickly, one of the bureaucrats is who I consider an ally is Don Graves. Just to tell you, the kind of the firepower that that we're fighting with here.
Hey, look at the new guy, bringing all the knowledge. Farshad, look, what would be very helpful, and I saw Delia drop this in the chat, if you could put into writing that request that we can then share with Senator Schumer's staff, who we do have a good relationship with, that would be so incredibly helpful. And, we could also certainly send it to ESD and, our connections there. So that would be great.
I'd be happy to do that.
Thank you. I truly appreciate it. I know that we're already starting to lose people because it's 2 minutes to 1. So does anybody have anything else for sharing time or airing of grievances?
No, very positive. The only thing I wanted to quickly mention is, if I'm not mistaken, this pot of money used to fund the CAP loan loss reserve, and I see Kim nodding her head, and that was incredibly helpful for those of us who make many loans to, clients who and businesses that really deserve the funding, but these are more riskier loans we're happy to make because of our mission. So I'm hoping that some of these funds will be allocated for the CAP program.
Okay. All right, it is 12:59. I wish we could have another half hour to carry on. There's so much to talk about. But give me any feedback that you like by email, respond to the agenda that I sent around. Links are in the agenda, links are in the chat. I will send a link to the recording and also the chat and all the emails. So thank you all for everything you do and for continuing to do it through these very challenging times. I wish you all very, very happy Thanksgiving, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Colleen. Happy Thanksgiving.
Nice to see you, Kim.
Everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
We miss you.
Bye. Bye.
You
Bye,
guys.
Melanie.
Yeah.
To do something fun together soon.
Hey.
Yes. Take care. Bye.
All right, bye.
Good night, John Boy.